All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first time that we're doing this live introduction to a high-intensity interval training class through Rogan Motion. Rogan Motion is an online wellness program for people with Parkinson's. My name is Claire, and I'm a physical therapist. I've been specializing working with people with Parkinson's for 15 years since I graduated from physical therapy school. I've done pretty much every training that is out there: LSVT Big, Power Moves, Rock Steady Boxing, trainings through the Parkinson Foundation. I also teach other therapists how to really optimize exercise for people with Parkinson's. Our goal is really to help anyone with Parkinson's, and honestly people without Parkinson's if they want to exercise with us, but especially people with Parkinson's, be the healthiest they can possibly be through research-based exercise programs. And one of the big things that research says is that exercise needs to be intense. So what we have been called is extreme. So we are really trying with our exercise classes to help all of you challenge yourselves at the highest level, to get your heart rate up, increase blood flow up to the brain, and also to do challenging exercises with regards to kind of Parkinson specific changes that can happen, like changes in balance or posture or flexibility. We want to work on all of those things at a very high level. So one thing I'll say with this class, this intro class that we're about to do, it is supposed to be challenging. These classes, I'm 40, and when I teach these classes, I get sweaty and out of breath, and my balance is challenged. And the most important thing is always safety. So anything that I'm doing, if you don't feel comfortable doing it, it is totally fine to not do it, to watch, to modify it. Safety is always the most important. And once you're safe, then our goal is to really build that challenge level so that you can get better, get stronger, and so that we can really change the trajectory of Parkinson's over the long term. I'm fortunate to have people that I've been working with for 10 years now who are doing better now than they were 10 years ago. They are healthy, more fit, and that is not what's supposed to happen with Parkinson's, but we know it's possible. And so we are trying really hard to, share that with more people and have as many people as possible really be able to kind of control their destiny and their outcome while living with something like Parkinson's. So for our workout today, most important is safety. If you need to take a break or modify what we're doing, feel free. With our online membership, this is one of our more challenging classes. We have classes that are more moderate intensity that move at a little bit slower pace. So if you try this class today and it feels like too much, you are welcome to try our Power Moves class. And that would be a class that would kind of get you started and build up to being able to do a higher intensity class like this. If this class is a good challenge for you, great. You might like our HIIT classes like this. Full length is an hour. You might also like our boxing classes that are similar intensity levels. We also do cardio classes using exercise equipment like bikes and treadmills. If you have access to something at home or at a gym, we recommend that class. Our Power Moves classes are more moderate intensity, which, even if you can do this class well and you enjoy it, you shouldn't be doing high intensity exercise for all of your exercise. You should have a range in intensity levels. So I would say, doing some high intensity exercise like 3 to 4 times a week where you're really getting your heart rate up and challenging yourself is the goal. And then the other days of the week, doing a range of more moderate or even lower intensity exercise like restorative yoga or Tai Chi or things like that are really a part of a well-rounded exercise program that's going to benefit you the most. So we want high intensity, but not everything should be high intensity. So we are trying to offer with our membership kind of that range in types of classes, different challenge levels, different types of classes to really keep things interesting, to keep you engaged, and to challenge you in the right way. So our normal high intensity class is an hour long. We do warm up for about 10 to 15 minutes at the beginning, and then we have 2 high intensity exercises that we do. This is kind of what a typical class plan looks like. So we have 2 high intensity exercises that we do where the goal is to get our heart rate up, really challenge ourselves, and so we kind of keep it a little more simple cognitively. For any of you who incorporate cognition into your exercise, you might know that the more challenging it is cognitively, it kind of slows us down. It's hard to really push ourselves at quite the same level physically. So we keep these a little bit more simple, but really try to challenge ourselves physically. And then our other exercises that we do are skill-based exercises. And there we're working on all sorts of different things. This week at Rogue, our theme is balance and posture. So that's what we kind of incorporate into our classes a little bit more. So we kind of have a balance and posture focus down here for our skilled exercises. we're going to do single leg balance with an upper body row. So that upper body row works on our posture, and then we're standing on one leg. That works on our balance. Because we're moving our arms while trying to balance on that leg, it really increases that level of challenge compared to standing on that leg totally still. So this is, again, there's modifications available, but we don't modify fully. Like in this class, we do not demonstrate seated exercises. We are up on our feet and we are down on the floor. Well, we do some seated exercises, but challenging ones, but we're not giving like major modifications. You know, you can modify as needed, but I'm not going to be demonstrating things that are way different than kind of our exercises that we're doing. I'll give minor modification ideas. Then the second one we're going to do is starting sitting down. We're going to stand up with both legs, and then we're going to try to stand on one leg as we sit down. This is strengthening and also balance. And again, if you find that standing on one leg to sit down is a little too challenging, you can practice with both legs. You can be on one leg and the other leg is a kickstand. So I'll give options like that. Then we're going to come down onto the floor into tall kneeling. If you have knees that are uncomfortable to be on the floor, I would recommend having some extra padding and try to get down on the floor. And even if you're just kind of getting in that position, hanging out a little bit, resting a little bit as needed, that will allow you to build up that strength and tolerance to spend more time on your knees. So we'll be in tall kneeling here. Then we're going to, for the next one, and we're going to do power moves with eyes open and eyes closed in that position. Then we're going to get down on the floor into all fours, and we are going to transition around from all fours into sitting on the floor, moving around in different ways with our eyes closed. So you can do some with eyes open if you need to, but the goal is eyes closed as much of the time as possible. We're safe because we're down on the ground, but when we close our eyes, our brain really has to utilize information from our vestibular system in our inner ears and our somatosensation throughout our body to really maintain good movements and keep our balance and posture going well. And that's the kind of work that we want to do. And then our last one is going to be sitting on the ground, some core work, lifting our legs up and doing rows. So this workout, this is the format that we do, but every single class is different, and each week we have a different theme. Next week is strength. The week after that is flexibility. At the beginning of the month, it's mobility. So each week we have a little bit of a different focus that we incorporate into our classes so that it never gets old. And if you had specific things that you want to work on, you can let us know, and we will incorporate those into classes. So this is what a typical class looks like. We do our warm-up for 10 to 15 minutes. Then we do our first high intensity. We do 1 and then A. Then 1 again, B. 1 C, 1 D, 1 E. Then we take a quick break. When we are doing our exercise, we're doing that for 60 seconds. And then we have 15 seconds in between each one. So we have a chance to get a sip of water, stretch or move a little bit, and then it's time for the next one. So we go through 60 seconds on, 15 seconds between, 60 seconds on, 15 seconds between, back and forth. Then the second round, so we go through the whole first round, that's 10 rotations. Then we pause, get a sip of water, and then we do our second high intensity round. We go 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D, 2E. And then we're done with our high intensity round. We cool down with some power moves down on the floor. So today we are doing an abbreviated class just as an introduction. So we are going to do our first high intensity round twice. So we'll do 1A, 1B. Then we're going to switch to our other high intensity round, 2C, 2D, 2E. All right, and then we'll do our cool down. So my goal is that it's about a half an hour class. We're going to do about 5 minutes of warm up, do high intensity once through 10 stations, and then our cool down at the end. So you get an introduction to what this class looks like, but when we go the full hour, it is more challenging. So I think that is all I need to tell you. I will tell you what we need for class. So we keep equipment pretty minimal for the online classes because people are exercising at home or sometimes they're traveling and they're in a hotel room. So we don't want you to have a lot of equipment to be able to do the class well. We're really using our own body as majority of the challenge. But for today's class, so when we're doing our first 2 high intensity, we are just up and standing. We are going to do multi-direction stepping, and then we're going to do multi-direction skipping, or those could be steps if you don't actually want to jump for lower impact. Then our skilled exercise, we're going to do a single leg balance with a row. So we're standing on one leg, and that row can be without weights, just working on that kind of postural exercise, stretching through your shoulders. But if you want to add hand weights, it's great if you have a set of hand weights at home, lighter, like kind of in the 2 to 3 pound range, because we're doing big movement. So if you're using weights that are too heavy, even 5 pounds can be pretty heavy for the kinds of things that we do. So a set of light hand weights is great. If you do not have light hand weights, if you have some water bottles, something else that you can hold on to that's a couple pounds, cans of food, people use things like that. I highly recommend having a workout towel because the goal is to get sweaty during this class. It's nice to be able to towel off, or even just if your hands need to dry off a little bit. So a workout towel. We want to have a water bottle close by. We're going to be sipping on water throughout the class. We are doing a sit to stand, where the part where we go from standing to sitting is with one leg only. So you want to have some surface that you can stand up from. So if you have kind of just a nice stable chair, like a kitchen table or dining room table, you could have that close by. We're going to be standing up and then trying to balance on one leg as we sit down. But you could also use a couch. So you could use any surface that you can stand up and sit down from. And then a yoga mat is great. We're going to be getting down on the floor multiple times. It's nice to have something with a little bit of cushioning or padding. And I believe that is it in terms of helpful equipment to have. Last one, like I was mentioning, high intensity exercise, aerobic exercise, getting our heart rate up is very important. If you have not been doing higher intensity exercise, you can't necessarily just jump in full steam on that first class. So you kind of have to build up your ability to work at that high level. But one thing we recommend is using a heart rate monitor if you really want to be tracking, because the research that really shows the strongest support for exercise really helping with Parkinson's is aerobic exercise, where people are getting their heart rate between 60 and 80% of their max. So we have the resources in our membership to help you figure out what are those numbers for you if you aren't already familiar. If you use an app for heart rate monitoring, you put in your age and heart rate, resting heart rate. It will often tell you what percentage you're at, so that's helpful. So if you have a Fitbit or an Apple Watch, or a lot of our members have gotten separate heart rate monitors that they then connect to an app while they're exercising to make sure they're getting into that higher intensity range. So that's the only other thing. It's not required for class, but it's something we recommend. Okay, I got to get a sip of water. It's a lot of talking. At the beginning of our regular online classes, there is not this much talking. At the time class begins, we start our recording, we mute everyone, we say hello, here's the plan for class, let's get started. So that description at the beginning is usually like just a couple minutes, and then we get started with the warm-up. But that's the whole point of doing an introduction video like this today, is to give you an introduction to what we're going to be doing. So after we kind of do that quick intro, then we start our warm-up. So for the warm-up, you want to have some space. If there's any obstacles, you can kind of move those obstacles out of your way. And we're going to get started walking in place. So lifting those knees up and swinging your arms, really trying to coordinate opposite arm and opposite leg, getting on really good timing, nice big steps, lifting those knees up, and also big steps with your, or not big steps, big swings with your arms. So when it comes to the arms, what we want to focus on actually is getting those elbows back behind us. Because a lot of times when people try to swing bigger, they're swinging out in front, but not behind. So you can see that doesn't really look natural. Whereas if I focus more on getting those elbows back behind me as I swing, I can get in really good timing and coordination with my stepping, and then my arm swing looks more natural and it feels really good. So we're walking in place. Another question we get is about music. We love music, but our experience is that music does not come through really great on Zoom because internet connections make a difference. Your device, whether, the speakers on your device, there's a lot of kind of complicating factors. So we don't typically play music for most of our classes, but we highly recommend if you enjoy having music on when you exercise, we encourage you to play music while you're doing our classes with us. The other thing about music is that different people have different tastes in music, and it's kind of hard to please everyone all at once. So we don't tend to play music during these classes, but highly recommend you play it at home if you would like to. All right, so our warm-up is walking in place, and then let's do some actual movement in space. So these are some of the things that we incorporate into our warm-ups. So let's walk forward. And when we're walking forward and then back up, if you feel comfortable, if you don't feel comfortable backing up, you can always turn around and walk forward again. So what we want to work on is exaggerating our movements. This is what makes it more Parkinson specific. this idea of amplitude training, which is what the programs like LSVT Big and Power Moves are based on, is that with Parkinson's, one of the main symptoms is movements getting slower and smaller. And so any exercise you do, you really want to exaggerate those movements. Make those movements big and fast. We actually want to focus more on the big part than the fast part, because the big part is what gives us really good quality movements. All right, we've done quite a few laps moving forward and backwards, and I will tell you, we mix it up a little bit faster in our usual classes, but here, since I'm talking, I'm kind of doing the same thing for a little bit longer than I usually would. So now let's step to the side, and again, lifting those feet up. Oh, and I didn't actually start my heart rate monitor. Start that app. Lifting those feet up, back and forth. I have already taught 3 classes this morning, so I've been working out for hours already. Going to the side, really lifting those feet up. All right, and we really like to incorporate standing power moves for our warm-up. So we're going to bring those feet wide apart. We're going to squat down, push those hips back, reach your hands forward, and power up. That's 1. Down and up, 2. Down and up, 3. Down and up, 4. Down and up, 5. Down and up, 6. Down and up, 7. Down and up, 8. Down and up, 9. Down and up, 10. Walk it out. So anytime if you need a little bit of a break, try to keep moving by walking it out. Or anytime if I'm just talking, try to keep moving throughout the whole class. We're going to do jumping jacks as that's one exercise that really gets our heart rate up. So you've got options though. And when you're in a class, like I said, I'll give some options and modifications, but you will also learn if you come to classes regularly, kind of what those modifications are, which ones are right for you, and you can easily jump in and do them. With our live classes on Zoom, there's time before and after classes that you can ask questions. So if we did an exercise that day that wasn't quite right for you and you need a modification, you can ask us and we'll help you figure out a good version of that to do. We're physical therapists, so it's a little bit different than exercising with a personal trainer. We really have background in, assessing and treating injuries. So we know when we're doing an exercise class, things we want to maybe avoid or modify or do a little bit differently to help keep everyone feeling really good, but also challenge them at a high level. So for our jumping jacks, you have options of doing a regular jumping jack. You can also do a supported jumping jack. If jumping isn't something you've been doing a lot of, I love for people to use support so those arms can kind of help you be nice and light on your legs, but still get some jumping going. And then if you really want to do low impact and avoid the jumping, you can do that kick out to the side. You still want to go nice and vigorous with those movements. You can still get your heart rate up. All right, so we're going to do 10. Ready, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, we got to keep that mic pack down. So now we're going to do our next power move. It's a rock and reach to work on balance and weight shifting. Feet wide apart. Big rock and reach to the right. 1, to the left. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Walk it out. And we're going to do another set of jumping jacks. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very nice. Walk it out. Now we're going to do our power twist in standing. So we are going to bring those feet wide apart. Arms out to the side. Take that right arm. Pivot on that right foot. Come all the way around. Clap your hands together. 1. Open. 2. Open. 3. Open. 4. Open. 5. Open. 6. Open. 7. Open. 8. Open. 9. Open. 10. Open. 11. Open. 12. Open. 13. Open. 14. Open. 15. Open. 16. Open. 17, open, 18, open, 19, open, 20, and open. Walk it out. Catch your breath, and another set of jumping jacks. Ready, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Walk it out. And we're going to do forward lunges for 10, our power step. So feet about hip width apart. Big step forward, lunge into it. 1, together, left side. 2, together. 3, together. 4, together. 5, really big, together. 6, together. 7, together. 8, together. 9, together. 10, together. Walk it out. Let's take it up to a jog. So again, if you want to stay low impact, you can keep both feet down on the ground, but just get nice and bouncy side to side, really trying to get those joints to be nice and springy. If you feel comfortable, you can actually lift up that opposite foot. We're still trying to coordinate those arms and legs. Whew. So when we're doing jogging, also, walking in place is always an option. So there's these ways we can kind of scale our exercise up or down a little bit. We want to accommodate everybody as well as possible so you get a really good workout, but you also feel good during and afterwards. And it can take, sometimes we got to tweak things a little bit to get to a good spot for that. Okay, big steps to the side. So feet about hip width apart. Big step to the right. 1, together. 2, together. 3, together. 4, together. 5, together. 6, together. 7, together. 8, together. 9, together. 10, together. Walk or jog it out. Nice and light on your feet. And next we're going to step backwards. Feet about hip width apart, nice tall posture. Our step back is a step. We're going to shift our weight back onto that leg. Reach our arms forward for counterbalance. That's 1, together, left side. 2, together. 3, together. 4, together. 5, together. 6, together. 7, together. 8, together. 9, together. 10, together. Walk or jog it out. All right. It's hard for me to cut a warm-up short. There's still a couple more things I want to do. So we've done our standing power moves, which are great to work on our posture, weight shifting, trunk rotation, and stepping for the core things that we want to incorporate into every workout. We're going to do some high knees to get those hips loosened up a little more. Right side up as high as you can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Walk or jog it out. And now we're going to lift those heels up to our hips in the back. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Walk or jog it out. All right, bring those feet wide apart. Let's stretch here a little bit. Bend into that right knee. That's 1. Bend into the left knee. 2. Switch. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back to the middle. You can stay still if you want to, or you can keep moving. We're just going to loosen up through our neck a little bit. Look side to side. And coming back to the middle, look up to the ceiling, down to the floor. And look straight ahead. Tilt your right ear over to your right shoulder, left ear to your left shoulder. back to the middle. Stretch those arms out, kind of like you're swimming a backstroke. Not quite if you're a swimmer, I realize that, but sort of like it. For most of us, it's a helpful visual. So reaching those arms forward, up and back. Nice big stretches of the shoulders. And then switch and go forwards. Very nice. Shake it out. All right, feel free, if there's any other stretches or movements that would feel good to you, feel free to do those. We're going to get a sip of water. Now we're going to get started with our circuits. So we do explain our circuits ahead of time because we want to make sure people know what to do and can do them as well as possible. So I got to get tucked in, all ready to go. Okay, so our first high intensity round that we're going to do twice is multi-direction stepping. And after I told you that we keep these simple cognitively, for this one it's not that simple cognitively. So we don't typically add a lot of cognition in here, but it never hurts to, and especially for balance week. Like cognition, decision making, reaction time, all those things are super important for balance. So I couldn't help myself but incorporate it here. This is the actual workout that we did yesterday, full length in our class. So multi-direction stepping, you want to make sure you have room around you to step in any direction. I'm going to call out the foot that you're stepping with and the direction you're stepping. So it'll be right or left. I'm going to mirror you. So when you step right, I'll be stepping technically with my left leg, but mirroring you. And I will call out either forward, side, or back. So if it was right forward, we're stepping forward. We always come back together in the middle. Right side is out to the side. Right back is back. Then left forward. Left side, left back. All right, so you're going to be listening and doing the best you can to keep up with me. We're going to do that twice, and then we're going to switch to what our other challenging exercise was, our more high-intensity aerobic exercise, was multi-direction skipping. So you want to find a space where you've got some room you can move forward and back. It doesn't have to be a huge space. You could be going forward, about 6 to 8 feet and back, or turning around. And level 1 is high knees, going forward, getting those knees up as high as you can. And then backwards, like I said, you can turn around and go forward if you don't feel comfortable going backwards. So high knees is level 1. And then we're going to take it into skipping if that's an option for you. So high knee and then skip. High knee, skip. Getting those knees up, forward, and then back if possible. High knee, kick that leg back. So a lot of coordination, a lot of challenge. So you can keep this at high knees for forward and back. You could skip forward and just do the high knee back. Those are the kinds of things you have options. But we are trying to challenge ourselves in many ways. So those are high intensity exercise. 2 times stepping, 3 times skipping. Then we're doing a single leg row with weights in our hand, going forward and back. Normally we would do one side on the first round, other side on the second round. Today we'll do 30 seconds on one, 30 seconds on the other. After that, our skilled exercise is the sit to stand. So we're going to stand up and then try to sit down only using one leg. Stand up. Try to sit down, only using the other leg, back and forth. Then we're going to come down onto the ground into tall kneeling, and we're going to do power moves with eyes open and closed. So we're going to do our power up here, 5 with eyes open, then 5 with eyes closed. Then we're going to rock and reach, working on balance here, 10 with eyes open, 10 with eyes closed. Yesterday when we do the full length class, we did our rock and step, or our twist and step in the second round. Today we'll focus on the up and rock. Next, we're coming down into all fours, closing our eyes and transitioning into sitting. So however you want to do this mobility work, but the goal is to keep your eyes closed the whole time. So you are feeling it out, figuring it out, using your body awareness in space instead of vision. And then last one is in sitting, rocking back on your tailbone, lifting those feet up, balancing here. You can support at your knees if you need to. If possible, we're going to take our hands off. We're going to row with our arms while holding here, breathing, great core work, and also balance. So that is going to be the workout, and then we'll cool down after that. Okay, so we're going to start with our first 60 seconds on with our multi-direction stepping. I will call out what we do, and I'll be doing it, so you're just going to do it along with me. One more sip of water, and I got to turn my fan on. And multi-direction stepping. Ready? Right forward. left side, right back, left forward, right side, left back, right back, right forward, left side, left forward, right side, left back, right forward, left forward, right back, left back, right side, left side, left forward, right forward, right back, left back, left side, right forward, right side, left forward, left back, left side, right forward, right back. Very nice. Whew, that is tough. It's cognitively challenging for me too, and we do want to incorporate those kinds of cognitive challenges, and we do. All right, single leg balance with rows. So you can grab the hand weights if you want to. We're standing on one leg. If that feels a little too unstable, you can use the other foot as a gentle kickstand. So tall posture, ready, rowing out and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a good challenge. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Switch sides. Get your balance and row. 1, 2. Got to get my balance. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Whew, feeling the burn. See, you don't need very heavy weights for the kinds of things we do. Let's get a sip of water. And one more time doing the multi-direction stepping. After this, we're moving on to the skipping. So shake it out, shake those arms out, shake those legs out, feet about hip-width apart. Ready, right forward, left forward, right side, left side, right back, left back, left back, right back, left side, right side, left forward, right forward, right side, right back, left back, left side, left forward, left back, right side, right forward, right back, left forward, left back, right side, left side, and time. Woo, nice work. All right, next time when we're doing high intensity, it'll be our skipping. So now we're doing our sit to stand, trying to lower while standing on only one leg if possible. Again, make sure you're safe. So we're coming to the chair. We're sitting down to start with. We're going to stand up, and then kind of it helps me to get that leg that I'm going to stand on underneath me a little bit more, kind of centered underneath me, so I can balance while sitting down. Both feet down, stand up tall, balance on one leg, have a seat. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Work that balance, work that strength. Keep breathing. Good work. We got 18 seconds to go. 60 seconds is a long time when you're working hard. Finish strong, last few seconds. All right, very nice. Okay, switching to our next high intensity, which is our skipping. Like I said, you can do high knees, you can do the skipping, we're going forwards, backwards if possible, or you can stick with forwards if that feels better, and whatever amount of space you have is fine. Ready, let's go. Be aware of your space, where you've got room to go, how much room you have. Stay strong, work that coordination, work that power with jumping. I know there's a lot of reasons that jumping can be challenging, so we want to start with where you're at, figure out how we can get you where you want to be. Jumping is a great way to get the heart rate up, a great way to work on speed and power, agility, balance. So we do incorporate jumping into a lot of our classes, but we always have a stepping modification if you need the low impact. If you've got joints or different things that are saying no to the jumping. Whew. All right, that worked. I am up at 70% of my heart rate max. Okay, next skilled exercise is coming down on the floor into tall kneeling. So coming on the floor, patting under your knees if you need it. So coming up tall, hips forward, shoulders back. We're gonna sit back, reach your arms forward, and power up 1. Down and up 2. Down and up 3. Down and up 4. Down and up 5. Eyes closed. Down and up 6. Down and up 7. Down and up 8. Down and up 9. Down and up 10. Rock and reach. Rock and reach to the right. Eyes are open. 1. Switch. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Eyes closed. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. 16. 17. 18. 19. 20. Eyes open. 1 and 2. That's time. Woo, nice work. Coming up, we've done 3 high intensity, 3 skilled. We've got 2 and 2 to go. It's our second to last high intensity round. We're skipping or high kneesing again. Ready, and let's go. You can even just work on skipping in place, depending on your space. And with high knees, you can do high knees. If you don't fully want to jump, you could do a high knee going up on your toe, lifting that heel up. That's nice and vigorous and really helps you strengthen those calf muscles, which is one of our goals, because our calf muscles are super important for walking and balance. When we're walking, it's one calf muscle is pretty much what's holding us up as we go forward. That is the muscle that is the most active. For a lot of people, it does get weak over time. Parkinson's doesn't cause weakness directly, but inactivity does. It's use it or lose it. That principle you've heard before, turns out it's true. Whew. All right, only one more of those. Thank goodness, because I'm getting tired. If this were my only class, it'd be okay, but like I said, this is my 4th class today. Okay, so our next skilled one is getting down on the floor in all fours, and we're switching from all fours into sitting with our eyes closed. So close your eyes, come around into sitting on the ground. However you like, hands and feet supporting, cross-legged, and then coming up onto all fours again. I'm kind of using my mat as my anchor to keep me from moving all over the room. So we're just transitioning back and forth, sitting to all fours, breathing. These transitions often can be more challenging than just our basic exercises. And these transitions are what are very relevant for real life. So as physical therapists, we cannot help but incorporate functional things like this that are really great to work on. They work on flexibility, strength, balance, so many different areas. And just our goal with our classes is that it's not just exercise to get your heart rate up, but it's exercise to help you function better in your life. So we're incorporating these kinds of functional things into every class. Okay, 2 to go. 1 more high intensity with our skipping. Shake it out. Ready. Stay strong. Give it everything you've got. Let's go. Up high. Yesterday in class, we actually, in addition to going forwards and backwards, we did go sideways with the skip, which is the first time I've ever skipped sideways. Quite a coordination challenge. But that's what, we try to really just explore movement in these classes. We do some traditional exercises. We also really mix it up. And our gym here in California is kind of our lab, test lab, where we're trying things out, seeing what people like, what is challenging for them, and then we're bringing all of that to the online membership. Whew. But know that pretty much anything we do in an online class, we have done it in person with people with Parkinson's. Whew. But we do not hold back. We are trying to challenge people at the highest level possible. Oh man. Okay. Last skilled exercise, coming down on the ground into sitting. And I got to tie my shoelace. Okay, so in sitting, I got to kind of get my balance here. So we're going to rock back onto our tailbone. You can use your hands to help lift your legs up. So just first step is, can you balance here? So good balance challenge down on the ground. Then try taking one hand off, try taking the other hand off, and can you keep those legs up in the air? Holding here and breathing is an option. If you're ready for more, we're going to reach forward and row back. Moving those arms, a little bit of movement at our legs if you can do it. Breathe. Core strength here. If you need a rest, you can rest by grabbing your knees, put your feet down, and try to keep going. This is the very last one we're doing today for high intensity. After this is cool down. Good work. Sorry if my breathing is heavy into the mic. Whew. It is legitimately a workout for me. I hope it is for all of you as well. So that is the end of the circuit that we're going to do. We're going to cool down a little bit now with some power moves and stretching. Things I want to share. So we do have some people join these classes and say they're not challenging enough. And typically, if they're not challenging enough, it's a matter of you really, I got to stop our timer. It's a matter of you pushing yourself to move bigger and faster. Some of the work has to kind of come from within. Some of the effort has to come from within. So you really have to work through any bradykinesia, rigidity that you have to really be able to push yourself. So you should be able to get a good workout with these classes. But sometimes there might be something that interferes a little bit, like balance or something like that. So that might be something that kind of restricts you from really pushing all the way. So then we'd say, do as much as you can. If you felt like for a high intensity class like this, you could do at least half of it. I would say stick with it and it'll get better over time. When we do classes live, we're recording them. So if there was a class that was particularly challenging, you could always go and do that class again a couple times, and that practice and repetition is really going to help you get better at those movements and those exercises. So that's one cool thing that's available. Or it's just a matter of, consistently showing up, and over time you're going to get stronger and be able to do things better. So let's bring those hands behind us in this sitting position. Feet and knees out wide. Let both knees go over to the right, all the way over as far as you can. Knees up and over to the left, all the way over as far as you can. That's 2. Up and over. 3. Up and over. 4. Up and over. 5. Up and over. 6. Up and over. 7. Up and over. 8. Up and over. 9. Up and over. 10. Back to the middle. Let's come around onto hands and knees. We're going to rock back into child's pose. Hips go back towards your heels. Reach your arms forward. And then we're going to rock forward, elbow straight, chest up. That's 1. All the way back and forward. 2. Back and forward. 3. Back and forward. 4. Back and forward. 5. Back and forward. 6. Back and forward. 7. Back and forward. 8. Back and forward. 9. Back and forward. 10. Walk your hands back underneath you. We're going to twist with that right arm out to the side and up towards the ceiling. Strong on that bottom leg, really trying not, it's not just the arm moving, it's your whole trunk is opening to twist open. That's 1. Switch. 2. Switch. 3. Switch. 4. Switch. 5. Switch. 6. Switch. 7. Switch. 8. Switch. 9. Switch. 10. Very good. We're going to step forward and stretch. Rock back. Big step forward on the right. Land with that foot flat. These shoelaces do not like to stay tied. I'm going to stretch forward a little bit and then bring that right leg back underneath you. Rock back. Big step forward on the left. Stretch forward into it. That's 2. Together. Right side. 3. Together. 4. Together. 5. Together. 6. Together. 7. Together. 8. Together. 9. Together. 10. Together. Come down onto your stomach. If being on your stomach is uncomfortable for your low back, you can always use a towel, a blanket, or a bolster to lift those hips up a little bit and then come down on your chest. That can make it much more comfortable. Being able to lie flat on our belly, though, is really good for us. Stretching our shoulders, our trunk, our hips. It helps to rock your hips side to side to loosen them up a little bit more. And then we're going to roll onto our back. For time's sake, I'm not doing as much as I would usually do in class. We usually have about 10 to 15 minutes for our cool down. We do some power moves in each position. So roll over onto your back. Ideally, we're letting our head come down to the floor. If you have limitations in your range of motion in your neck or it's painful, feel free to use a little bit of support, but the goal is to use the least amount of support possible. So we're not lifting our head way up here because then we're not going to improve our flexibility. We want to use the least amount of support so that we can start stretching through our neck and our upper back and ideally get to the point where we can lay fully flat. Because if you cannot lie flat on your back with your legs out straight, it means you would not be able to stand up straight either. It's the same range of motion we need in our body here. And so it's a really good cue actually to spend time on the floor on our back to see if we can get all the way flat. If you're not there, we want to get more flexible. If you're already there, awesome. We want to keep it that way. Changes in posture is one of the most common things that can happen with Parkinson's. So we either can improve it if you've already noticed a change, or our goal is to prevent you from experiencing that change if at all possible. Okay, final stretch. Arms at your sides. Lift your hands up towards the ceiling. Reach all the way above your head. Touch your thumbs to the floor above your head. That's 1. All the way down and up. 2. Down and up. 3. Down and up. 4. Down and up. 5. Down and up. 6. Down and up. 7. Down and up. 8. Down and up. 9. Down and up. 10. Let your arms relax wherever is comfortable. Eyes closed, deep breath in and out. Let everything relax. Wiggle those fingers and toes. Do any other movements or stretches that feel good to you. Excellent work today. Thank you all for joining, no matter how much you did. If you watched some, participated in the whole thing, thank you for coming. I'm very open and excited to hear your feedback or answer any questions that you have, and I hope you all have a great day. So I'm going to get my water bottle and bring my chair up close. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer those questions. All right. Does anybody have any questions for me? Feel free to unmute, or you can also put those questions in the chat if you prefer chat instead of unmuting.
I'll say something.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I've been doing my power walking since I was diagnosed 4 years ago very faithfully, but recently my gun.
Uh-oh. It's breaking up a little bit. I think it looks like you're outside, right?
Toes, and I went to the podiatrist, and he said it looks like, arthritis in my toes. And so I don't know if it's going to be anything that I'm going to recover from, because he just immobilized my foot for 3 weeks, but I don't know that when I go back to exercising, I'm probably going to get it again, I guess. Any ideas about that, about arthritis in feet?
Yeah, definitely. So exercise is helpful, but when it comes to foot pain or challenges, especially for people with Parkinson's, it might be arthritis, but Parkinson's often can cause a little bit of stiffness or tightness or dystonia in the feet. And the good news is most things do respond well to exercise, but it's really a matter of what you're doing the right kind of exercise. And one thing when it comes to Parkinson's is often Parkinson's will shorten steps up a little bit. And if you're landing on your foot a little bit differently, or your steps are shorter, you're landing more flat, that means that there's more kind of pressure and forces into parts of your foot that aren't really made to be the ones to land on. Your heel is a really strong bone that was kind of made to be landed on. So one thing is when you're walking, once you're out of the immobilization, you really want to make sure to focus on taking long steps and getting your heels down first. You want to maybe mix it up and do some cross training. Like if walking aggravates your feet at all, I would really recommend cross training and doing kind of a mixture of walking for exercise, maybe using a bike, a stationary bike, either, upright or recumbent, whichever you prefer, for aerobic exercise where you can really get your heart rate up and there's less pressure on your feet. And then also mobility work. So exercising like the power moves, ideally even without shoes on if possible, because shoes really kind of support our feet in a way that doesn't allow them to function optimally in some cases. Like we want our toes to kind of spread out. Actually, we want those muscles to get stronger. So our power moves classes are more moderate intensity. We're not jumping. It's not a lot of high force on the feet. We exercise in sitting, in standing, and then we get down on the floor. But when you do them without shoes on, we get a lot of really good mobility work into the toes, into our ankle, and it's also, again, kind of less stress on your feet. So I think kind of getting into a good routine of rotating through what you're doing so that you are, on your feet and walking for exercise, that's very important, but also doing some different things to give your feet a little bit of a break. But absolutely, arthritis and other injuries, in my experience, pretty much anything can get better if you kind of figure out what's going on, modify your workout routine to work with that. Pretty much anything can get better and is manageable. But sometimes you have to back off a little bit and then kind of build back up to that intensity. All right, is that helpful? Okay, you're welcome. Any other questions from anyone? All right, well, if there aren't any other questions, then I'll let you all go on with your day. You'll get an email with us. We recorded this class, so if you want to try doing it again, we'll send out that recording. And then we have our membership that is available for anyone who is interested. I'll just share the screen with our membership information. So this is our live Zoom schedule. So we have classes 5 days a week, multiple classes per day. Our Power Moves class we have every day of the week. And then we alternate back and forth between this high intensity interval training class and boxing for our high intensity class. After power moves, we do cardio classes that use exercise equipment like bikes and treadmills. It's kind of like Peloton, only specific for people with Parkinson's. You don't have to have equipment though. You know, that's only 3 of our 18 classes per week. So if you don't have a piece of equipment, that is totally fine. But you can join in power moves, HIIT, boxing. We did add a high intensity class with just a couple pieces of small equipment to keep things interesting and fresh. So this class, we do use something called a tidal tank. We use a hurdle, and we use a TheraBand, like a resistance band, to really enhance our workouts. So if you're kind of exercising with us consistently, you could get those small pieces of equipment to really, you know, challenge yourself in new and different ways. We have 2 speech classes with a speech pathologist. So if anybody has noticed any change in their speech, this is a really great way to exercise your vocal system. Those are live and then recorded as well. We do a cooking class for plant-based recipes for anyone who wants to try eating a little bit more Mediterranean or plant-based. And then we have a yoga class with a friend of mine who's a physical therapist. On Fridays, we just adjusted our power moves to be a short power moves for 30 minutes. And then we are doing a dance class with line dancing afterwards. So I taught that this morning. So this is what our live classes look like. And then at our website, if you wanted to use more of recordings, you go to our website and then browse, shows our video library. When you're a member, you can access any and all of these classes. It's unlimited. You can do as many classes as you want to, or we have some members who just join us a couple times each week or even just one time each week. I would say the majority of our members are either people who are working and need flexibility in their classes, so the recordings are good for them, or people who live in more rural areas, or for people who want to have some of their exercise be at home. They might even be going out to a class in the community, but it's nice to be able to exercise from home some of the days of the week. So our power moves go in here. We have power moves with a special strength focus, our high intensity interval training. If you click on that, you'll see our most recent classes from May are here that you can join and watch those. We also have all the classes that we have taught for the past 2 years. It's pretty much our 2-year anniversary of when the membership started. Back then, I was teaching classes from my home during the beginning of the pandemic. So if you want to do some of the early classes with me in my home, you can. So you'll see things kind of change and evolve over time with our classes. I would say in some ways they kind of keep getting harder, which is good, but we also have some that are kind of more the beginner versions. We have dance classes in our video library, speech classes. We have some for fine motor. We have some brain and body training. We have functional activities around the home. We have exercise of the month videos, educational lectures. We've covered a lot of topics over the past 2 years. These are available to watch. All topics such as incorporating meditation and mindfulness into your life, cognition, what you might want to do to really work on your memory and thinking and problem solving, reducing risk of falls, using technology to measure your activity and exercise intensities, different individual physical therapies that can be beneficial. So all these different topics, food is medicine, exercise is medicine, speech pathologist has given a couple talks. So we really have a lot of content. It's great to be able to, present these meetings and record them and put them in the video library so they are available for you anytime that topic is of interest to you. All right. Well, thank you again for joining. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email at claire@roguept.com. The emails that come to you as part of Rogue in Motion are ones that you can just respond to. Respond to that email. It'll come right to me, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have, or I'd love to hear from you. All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Good to see you all. Have a great day.